Agricultural influence on water quality has become one of the key issues on the minds of residents in the Great Lakes Basin. How our food is grown impacts the rivers we fish, the water we drink, and the beaches we swim at. What happens on the farm is increasingly becoming a public issue.
If we're going to have the interests of the public looked after, for example, the Lake Erie beachgoers, the Lake Erie fishers who get impacted by algal blooms, we need an intermediary to represent those interests, and historically that has been our government.
While government funds have put a lot of conservation practices on the landscape, the symptoms of agricultural pollution still persist. Computer models are helping scientists understand how much more work needs to be done to reach the ecological conditions of a healthy Great Lakes basin.
So now what we're able to do is we can set an ecological goal, and we can actually say, what will it take in terms of habitat conditions to achieve that goal? But more importantly, what will it take in terms of the actions of the conservation community, the investments we need to make to achieve that goal? And so basically the conclusions that we've reached are that we have to either significantly increase the conservation provision of the Farm Bill, or we have to develop new and innovative strategies for getting more conservation on the ground and getting it on the ground more strategically.
We see more and more products in the grocery aisle that boast sustainability, and consumers are beginning to value this in their food products. Competition in the marketplace can help drive change in the way our food is produced and how it impacts the Great Lakes.
The real leverage to change behavior or modify behavior is through that private sector. It's through all of the transactions that occur in the food system. There are two ways that people get to vote in this country. They get to vote on the first Tuesday in November at the ballot box, and then they get to vote with their dollars every time they spend them.
If they value certain outcomes, then they buy from those companies that produce those outcomes. And the reality is, if you buy from those firms prosper, the other firms that aren't doing it notice, and they start to emulate those behaviors.
And there are win-win opportunities where being environmentally green can help the brand of a company and help its sales. And we've seen various examples of that in the past, and I think there will be more of those in the future.
And what that's forcing companies to do is not only re-examine their customer, but to build a supply chain that makes sustainability inevitable. And that's the real challenge, and that's what companies are now doing.
Consumers have the power to make sustainability a staple in our food systems. Companies embracing conservation practices at the base of their supply chains can greatly offset the influence of agriculture on fresh water. Healthy rivers and lakes are important to the region, but it takes governments, businesses, farmers, and the Great Lakes public working together to create a food system that protects these freshwater resources.